Hello, everybody. Welcome to another round of HCG dieting. Okay, so we have gone. I'm going to kind of cheat my numbers a little bit for my own personal sanity. Let me explain why. Because the day that I decided to start loading, I started my drops in the evening, but I didn't count that as like a full day of loading. So and I had gained a lot that next morning. And by a lot, I'm saying the scale said 3 pounds. So that can show you that I essentially was loading that day, but I didn't have the drops the whole day. I only took them in the evening, so I was really going to count the next 2 days. I was thinking about only doing one more day and counting that day, even though I didn't take the drops the whole day. But then I just decided to go ahead and do the 2 full days. So I kind of loaded for 3 days because I'm going back and using those first numbers, and this is why. Because that first day I had a gain of 3 pounds. Okay, when I only took the drops the evening before, but I ate significantly. So then the next day I had a gain of 2.1. These are my standard numbers. I usually gain about 4 pounds, between 4 to 5 pounds, on loading the 2 days. Okay, so then the next full day, which really was the second day of being on HCG, but kind of third day of eating a lot. I mean, I ate more than I did on the other two, which is an indication that I did need more HCG in my system because normally you can't even force feed yourself at the end of the second day. So I'm glad I did do that. However, when I got on the scale this morning, zero loss, zero gain. I shouldn't say zero loss, zero gain, and zero loss. I had a zero. It was exactly the same as the day before. Now, part of this was unfortunate that last night I had a significant bowel movement. And we'll just leave it at that. But I was so angry. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can hold off until the morning. I can't. So that affected my numbers. But that's okay. That's okay. Because really, I kind of did 3 days of loading. So, what I thought I'd talk today about is, should you do 3 days of loading or should you only do two? I decided to do a little light research into the subject. And this is what I found from other people. Okay, now, if you go to the original protocol, and I talked about loading and I read stuff from the original protocol from Dr. Samian's, or at least I think I did. I assume I did. I'm going to go back and look. If not, then maybe I'll do that tomorrow and give you more information on loading. But I'm assuming in my past videos, in months past, I have talked about loading according to the exact protocol. I didn't actually look at the protocol. I was just doing my research on what everybody else is saying about loading 2 or 3 days. And there's a significant amount of information out there, and a lot of people who are doing 3 days of loading. All in all, synthesizing everything I read and putting it together, it's not recommended, and you really shouldn't do it. One, because there's no talk about loading for 3 days in the original protocol. So again, if we want to try to stick as close to the protocol as possible, then this is what we're going to do. The other philosophy that kind of goes hand in hand with that is that this is not really a diet per se that we're on, as much as it is a protocol. And when there's a protocol in place, you're supposed to follow the protocol. Loading is not a way of life, and there's a purpose behind it. In general, it was stated that if you find you need to load for an additional day, it's either that you're not loading enough food, or more importantly than that, you're not loading the proper foods. You're doing too many sugars and carbs on your load and not enough fats. So I found that interesting, and I would have to agree that I did probably too many carbs and sugars. I just kind of had a free fall, and I didn't focus on just loading fats, which is really what you're supposed to do during that time. So that's your end result right there. By doing that is you're not completely full at the end of your second load day. You should be at the point that you're like, man, I cannot wait to start this diet. And I was there last night. I got to the point that all the good foods, part of it last night too, and why I forced myself so much is that I had made a run to the grocery store. I didn't do my McDonald's double cheeseburger, which I always love to do on loads. Um, and yeah, I just didn't. I just thought if I really, I, my fear is that I get halfway through the diet and I'm at the point where like you're just kind of craving, your mouth and palate is craving different foods, and then I start kicking myself if I didn't have that burger. Say, boy, it's been forever, because I really only have them when I load. I don't have them in everyday life, or I'd be twice the size I am. Um, so because I was so full and I did want to finish eating up the things that are in the house that I knew would be huge temptations for me in the next week, um, I didn't go get one, and I justified it in my mind. And I hope I don't do this, but I feel like just by telling myself I can, I will do better. Let me try to explain that. Okay, so what I was telling myself is, oh, if you do like great for 2 weeks, then you can have a day where you go get yourself a double cheeseburger and take the bun off and cut up the meat and have that with a big salad, and that'll be like your special treat, almost like a cheat day. So it'll be all protein, but it would obviously be higher in fats than you're supposed to do on the diet. And I thought, well, that would be my cheat if I needed to have a cheat a couple weeks in. Usually for myself, this is what I do every morning. When I wake up in the morning, and my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4:30, depending on when I'm starting to teach my classes. But I start teaching normally at 5:30. Sometimes I start at 5. There are many mornings that alarm goes off, and I think, no, not ready. On those days, and this has been my whole life, this is not just since I started teaching online classes early in the morning, my whole life, ever since I got a job from graduating, and maybe even when I was in college, I could even see me doing this in college, quite frankly. When the alarm goes off and I don't want to get out of bed, I instantly take an account of what the day is going to be, and is there any part in that day where I'm going to be able to lay down for like an hour, between an hour to hour and a half, and take a nap. And if I can find a segment of time throughout my day where I know I'm going to be able to take a nap, then I'm like, okay, I can get up. I'm going to be able to take a nap later. 90% of the time I never took that nap. I just got about going about my day and everything, and I didn't necessarily need it. A little different now when I'm working later at night and then early in the morning, that I usually do need that nap because I'm only getting about 6 hours of sleep at night. But on my normal times of sleeping, I just have never been a morning person. That is what got me out of bed, is the knowledge of knowing in the future I'm going to be able to do this thing that is like a reward to me, which is a nap. So with that same kind of philosophy, knowing that that's the kind of person I am, because we're talking decades of me having the same pattern and doing the same thing, and it working for me, I was thinking, well, why don't I just tell myself, you can have it a couple weeks in. We'll take the bun away and you can have it with a big salad, and that'll be your protein and it'll be a cheat. I wonder if that'll be all I need, and that I won't do it, but I'll know that I can. I have a really hard time with like really severe restrictions in life. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit of a rebel. I never think of myself as one, but possibly I am one. All right, so there you go. So loading, I didn't even write down everything I ate. Thousands of calories, thousands, just a lot. Thousands and thousands of calories. So I did an official load, and I've loaded so much that when I take in a deep breath, it hurts. Like my organs are pressing against my ribs. It's interesting. I haven't felt this since after I had my appendix ruptured and I was all stitched back together, because everything got moved around inside of me when they were cleaning it all out, and then they like put it back together, kind of like a puzzle, but it doesn't go exactly where it takes time for everything to settle in its place. And for the longest time when I would breathe in deeply, my lungs like hit my ribs. I feel like that happening right now. Like I think my stomach has expanded so much that everything is kind of getting pressed on itself and it's literally physically hitting my ribs and is uncomfortable. I don't know. Do people live like this on a normal basis? I don't know. I remember it a little bit when I was pregnant, because the baby takes up so much space, so everything kind of gets shifted in that, but I don't remember it as much as since the appendix was ruptured. But then again, you know, the last time I was pregnant was 16 years ago, so maybe I've just forgotten. I don't know. So I am physically uncomfortable. My fingers are swollen, my feet are swollen, my legs are swollen. I literally even have like pains in my one calf, and I don't understand it, but I don't know what it's from, but it was like all day yesterday. I literally had to take Tylenol. In fact, I'm feeling like I need it again now. And I didn't, it was the first day yesterday that I haven't exercised in weeks. Um, I didn't get on the treadmill and walk for an hour like I normally do because my legs were so sore. And I thought, I think I need to give them a break, but they got no better throughout the day. And in order to go to sleep, I needed to take some Advil to make the pain go away. So I don't know what that is, but it's a feeling of overwork and fatigue, which hasn't happened unless I have so much weight now that it's starting to bear down on my calves and overwork them maybe. I don't know, because I am really high and the number's really high. I mean, you can see it in my face. Like, it shows in my face. Here's the thing, it's going to take a while for my face to go back down too, because when I gain weight, I gain it everywhere evenly. I'm not one of those people whose like stomach is just really big, or like they have like certain parts. Some people say, "Oh, when I lose weight, I lose it in my chest first and then I gain it in my chest first." I'm not that way, which is frustrating when you're losing weight because it takes longer to show it because it's evenly distributed and slowly going away. The other frustrating part is when I go to put on weight. The nice thing is if I've lost a whole lot of weight and I have a gluttonous day, I don't like look in the mirror and go, "Oh, my stomach is all distended," or whatever has gotten bigger that I don't want to get bigger. I don't even really notice it. The downside of that is that that's a slippery slope because you can eat a bunch and not notice any of it, and it's slowly gaining everywhere, so you don't really notice it. And then by the time you do notice it, excuse me, everything is large. And then you have the unfortunate circumstance of where I am right now where it all has to go away. My thighs are way too big, my calves are way too big, like everything's too big. So all right, we're beginning another journey. HCG round 2, day number 1, starting it today. As of this morning, I feel like I could go all day and eat nothing. Oh, especially if I keep taking deep breaths in like that. It's just uncomfortable. But I am sure that in about 5 hours from now, my body will be saying, "Oh, I want to eat." So we'll see how it goes. Good luck to all of you on this round. Stay the course. I know many of you are in the process of doing it right now, and if you're just getting started with me, welcome aboard, and let's go on through this. I'll be in touch again in probably 2 more days. I might not be really consistent about this. It might be like if I have a day where there's a time slot that a kid doesn't book or cancels a class in the morning, I'll just hop on and say what's going on. So I may have some days back to back, and I may have some times where I'll go 3 days. I don't know. So I apologize for that in advance. But with everyone being home, a lot of times I would do these after my work day. But now after my work day, with everyone being home and things are moving about in the house, it's just a different dynamic for the summer. So I'm just going to fill them in and fit them in where I can. And don't judge me that I threw the same shirt on that I think I was wearing in my last video. I've been wearing it for classes and taking it off and setting it on my bed, so I just put it on for the classes and then put on my comfy t-shirt all day long. But I want to teach in my t-shirts that I wear every day, so I just have the shirt. And then I realized, well, if I'm going to be doing these videos back to back or every other day, you might see some of my same shirts again and again. It's not like I'm wearing them all day, folks, but I mean, not that you care. Why do I feel the need to justify? Who cares if I did, right? We're in quarantine. We can wear the same thing all the time if we want to. All right, you take care. Happy dieting, and we'll see how things go. Let's lose a bunch this time. I'm excited. June is our month. goodbye weight. It's going away in June. July is going to be a wonderful month of slimming down, being slimmer, and then hopefully continuing to slim a little bit more. That's my goal. But June is the massive one. June is the one where I'm going full force. HCG, here we come. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.